I just want to find the things. Fuck a promise ring. My bitch want a diamond ring. It's a bullshit thing. Why the devil follow me? Why you follow me? Karma got it out for me. Hello. This is Desmond from First Impression Engineering. Back with my second tutorial video. If you have not watched my first video, I implore you to go to my page, watch my first video before you go on into this second video. The whole point of these videos is for me to teach you how to become an engineer, whether you want to engineer other people as a career or if you want to record yourself and get that radio quality that we all strive for. Alright, my last video was about equipment. The equipment that I personally, in my personal opinion, I feel like you need in order to attain the quality that you need in order for you to fit in the industry. The thing about it is a lot of people blindly buy studio equipment to try to record themselves, and it doesn't end great. If you do it the right way, you can save a lot of money and time going to someone else's studio. And you can, like I said, if you want to record other people as a career, then you can dive off into that and do it the right way instead of doing what I did. Um, it took me years to acquire the knowledge that I have now and the know-how. So let's just jump right into it. This second video is tips for recording great vocals, before the mix. A lot of people think the mix saves your songs. It does not. A mix is very much intended to polish an already nice sounding vocal. It is not it's not here to fix. The worse your recording is, the more you're fixing instead of mixing, and that is always a bad thing. So like I said, let's dive right into it. The first thing, as you can see right here on my screen, the first thing I have is your preamp settings. This is one reason why I've said go back to my first video. If you don't know what a preamp is, it's something that you actually need in your studio. So for you guys who know what it is and already watched my video, I have a channel strip preamp, which is a mic preamp, a compressor, an outboard compressor, and an outboard EQ. The thing about your preamp is what boosts the signal in your microphone, that catches all the detail in your voice, that gives your voice that loudness without catching all the, well, it still catches background noise, but it cuts some of the background noise out. It's better quality than, as far as capturing your vocals, than your interface. Your mic should be connected to your preamp before going through your interface. So preamp settings. The gain on your preamp is very important. You have three different settings on when it comes to that gain. You have cold, you have hot, and you have clipping. Cold means you're in the green. It's recording at a low level. I don't too much recommend it, but hey, everybody's different. Hot would be in the yellow. You're loud, but you're not overly loud. You're reaching line level. Clipping is when you are in the red and you are way too loud and your vocals are distorted. I don't care what equipment you're using. So I live by recording hot. I think is the best way for somebody with a home studio, not necessarily in a professional $30,000 studio that has $10,000 compressor and $10,000 interface. You can almost do whatever you want. You can skip, jump, hop, and that mix engineer should be able to still save that vocal and have it sounding great because you have great sounding equipment behind it. If you are in a home studio, even a pretty great one with a few $1,000s spent into it, it's not exactly on the same level. And there are rules in order to, get a good vocal, a good performance on that microphone. Um, and especially, I'm for the underdogs, especially for people who can only afford budget studios. My last video was about budget studios. What is the bare minimum that you need in order to make a great song? So I'm gonna stick to the budget. You know, it's always good to start low because you guys who don't have budget studios will still learn from this, and you'll actually be able to make even better sounding music. So budget studio wise, like I said, my preamp, I record hot. To me, that's the best way to do it. Um, if you're in a expensive studio, recording cold is still cool, but recording hot is great in a budget studio because when you record cold, a lot of times your vocals aren't loud enough, your mix isn't loud enough, and there's only so much you can turn it up without distorting it. So the master engineer, when he's done with your master, is not going to be as loud as industry level songs. And that's not what you want. You want your music to be on par with industry. So, like I said, recording hot is the number one. Just make sure you don't clip. All right. My second piece of advice is there's a lot of delegation about this. There's a lot of um, arguing and opinions. It's all opinion, but my opinion is if you are in a budget studio, you should be at least 12 inches, at least 8 to 12 inches away from the microphone. And this is why. Okay, first of all, if you're recording hot and you're too close, you might clip. You more than likely will clip. Not only that, but the closer you get to the mic, the more bassy your vocals are, which is a lot more bass that has to be mixed out. Sometimes it's hard to mix that bass out, almost impossible, without affecting the quality or the thickness of your vocal. Um, like I said, if you're in a expensive studio, you probably won't have that problem. Your compressor and your interface probably sounds so great that you're not getting a super bassy, rumbly, horribly sounding vocal. Um, so yeah, 12 inches. You don't want to be any further away than 12 though, because you're gonna hear more room than your voice, and that's not gonna be good as either. So I say it's a lot of arguing about this because people swear being closer to the mic gives more presence. I can't disagree with that, but it's really more about these engineers that are saying this. They have never even been in a budget studio. Like they've recorded in top of the line studios since college and things like that. So you can get up on that microphone. You got great equipment and it does give you better presence. Your vocals be so up front in the mix. That's great. But in a budget studio, it's not exactly the same situation. Stay 8 to 12 inches away from that microphone. You get better clarity. You don't have to worry about clipping unless you just scream at the microphone. Um, the popping is not too overly explosive when you say your P's and B's, your plosives. Um, it helps even with sibilants, you know, having to use that de-esser a little bit too strong. compressing those S's so hard that it affects other parts of the vocal. It's a lot that goes into it. So, like I said, if you have a budget studio 8 to 12 inches away from that microphone, well, really 8 to 12 inches away from that pop filter. Okay, now movement. That's another thing. You do not want to be dancing around, leaning and rocking, doing the pool palace, the stanky leg, none of that while you on the microphone. I understand, like bouncing your head, but going back and swaying back and forth and side to side is not a very good. You want to try to keep your body settled in one spot and your mouth the same distance from the microphone. You're gonna move a little bit. That's fine. Your equipment's gonna take care of that. But doing too much, damn near dancing on the microphone or performing like you're on stage is going to make it very hard for you to control those dynamics. And that is dynamics and plosives and all this stuff. These are words you're gonna learn. If you don't know these words, you're gonna learn them when I get into my mixing tutorials. You're gonna learn those words, but for now, try to take heed in what you do understand. um what else? Let me see what kind yeah, as far as good recording, that's that's it right there. Make sure the preamp setting is right. Oh, as far as the preamp, the channel strip, the compressor should, if you use the compressor, right, you're going to need to find the setting that works great for you. I can give you advice on it, but I can't tell you what setting. Everybody's vocals are different, performances are different. The preamp basically molds your vocals. They bring the quiet parts up and the loud parts down to kind of match each other. So you're not all over the place. It brings your vocals a little bit forward in the mix so you have more presence. I feel like an outboard compressor sounds a lot better than the compressors that you use digitally in your DAW or your recording software. That's what it is, DAW recording software, like Pro Tools or Studio One, things like that. Uh, if you're using I personally like to set my outboard compressor at a ratio of 4:1, and I'll probably bring my threshold down maybe -6 to -8. Um, yep, I'd say about -6, maybe -8 at the most. I don't like to use too much compression because I'm gonna add compression in the DAW as well. I like to use at least two compressors. Um, so yeah, that's basically my settings on as far as the compressor goes. Um, and you'll get the hang of it once you play around with it. You don't want to overly compress because you're gonna sound like muffled, and you're gonna hear the compression. So and the attack, I usually have the attack between maybe 5 and 15. Play with it between 5 and 15 for rap vocals. I usually keep the release around 49. So now those are my go-to settings for in your face compression. Depending on who I'm recording, I might do subtle compression on my outboard compressor with my channel strip, and that would be a ratio of 2:1. I'll leave the attack and release the same. I'll play around with the attack, but I usually leave the release the same, and I will pull the threshold down a little bit more, maybe like -10. But that's all that I have for today. You guys like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Anything negative will be deleted. I don't do negative. I'm here to help. So, yep. You guys have a great day. And like I said, like, share.
Worse than my bald nigga. In the fish tank, I'm a shark nigga. Can't give a girl my heart nigga. Mama told me be smart nigga. Jack is out like every night. They'll play you left if you look right. Eyes open like satellites, so don't try to fucking play me right. Bite worse than my bald nigga. In the fish tank, I'm a shark nigga. Can't give a girl my heart nigga. Mama told me be smart nigga. Jack is out like every night. They'll play you left if you look right. Eyes open like satellites, so don't try to fucking play me right.
Niggas say you about to run now. Chopper bullets having fun now. Fucking high horse nigga, come down. Fucking high horse nigga, come down. Yeah. Got the A on the seat. Ain't no account of hundreds. 5 bands, I 20s. Yeah, you know I get money. 412 for the police. Fuck a nigga if he owe me. Y'all niggas so lonely. Make sure the money not lonely.